Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I have a guest. This is my mom.
I am Marlecia from Marlecia's Meanderings.
It's been a while since we've had a book tag video at all on my channel, but specifically a book tag video with mom on my channel. As per usual, we tend to record at least two at a time, one for her channel, one for my channel, just while we have all the camera and lights set up.
Mm-hmm.
So for my channel, we are doing the Howzat Tag. It was created by Gavin of Genre Books, and I was tagged by Gavin.
I think we were both tagged, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I do not know. I
know he tagged me for a few things. I don't remember what they were.
So there are 10 questions, and then the 11th is I'm tagging people, so it's not really a question. Let me take a drink.
Tea.
So the first question. So it's kind of questions, more like, it says, I have questions written down. This is more like prompts.
Mm-hmm.
So the first prompt is opening Batsman, a writer who builds a solid opening of a book or just a great first line. So, I mean, there are, of course, the classics that everyone thinks of, like Dickens, and
which may or may not be good first lines.
Yes.
It's just that everybody knows them.
Yes. But I'm trying to think, if I was to pick something that's not like everyone will think of as like a Dickens or whatever. I mean, I feel that most of the Golden Age mysteries start pretty strongly. Mostly because you pretty much do have to get... I mean, there are some that meander a bit, but for the most part, you do have to kind of get going.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really think of a specific, book or writer that I would point to, other than, like I said, typical that everyone says Dickens.
Well, I think I would probably cheating, because I think I would pick Genesis.
That also, okay, yeah, that's cheating, but yes.
Well, it didn't say it couldn't be biblical.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It didn't say that. It didn't say it had to be a novel.
I came up with my line. Tolkien.
Oh, yes.
In his whole beginning of The Hobbit.
Yes.
Yes.
The ground. How does it start?
There
was a
something like there was in the ground. In the ground. Oh, you have the Hobbit right there. But you haven't unwrapped it yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
In the ground there lived a hobbit.
No, there was a hole in the ground. There was a hole or something. The message starts a hole, but not a nasty,
smelly, dirty hole.
This is a hobbit hole. It means comfort or whatever it is.
I can't access my phone to access the book, and my Hobbit is all the way over there,
and mine's not open yet.
So, and even if that's not the exact first,
you get the idea.
It's the opening of the book.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, and actually, Lord of the Rings starts pretty strongly with that as well. You have the whole, heading into the birthday party. Tolkien starts strong with his books.
Well, he starts in medias res a lot of times.
Yeah, well, also, it's a medias res, but it is, in a way, it tends to be amusing, and it tends to, because you can have someone who starts in medias res, but maybe they're a bit confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Besides being a medias res and humorous, it tends to be very well written as well.
I have to admit to not really noticing the line unless it's really bad, because I'm so invested in wanting to know what the characters are up to, so I don't usually notice the line itself, because I'm sure that Lewis has it. I'm sure that Poirot for Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes, they all have that kind of grabbing of a hook.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have one other than the Bible, and of course the one you just mentioned, that I can think of off the top of my head, because I don't really pay attention to the first line unless it's horrible, like one that takes a whole paragraph. Dickens.
So then that leads us into opening partner, a writer who you've built a relationship with over time. Well, I mean, I'm going to say definitely Agatha Christie, because that's an author who I've known her work since I was, 10 years old. So I feel I have a very personal relationship with that. And I've gone on to read her biography, a couple of biographies about her. I'm going to be reading her autobiography. So I would say that I would have a personal relationship with her, to a lesser extent to Tolkien, who I'm also reading about him and reading his work. Father Knox to a certain extent. And then I'm going to mention Timothy Zahn.
Yeah.
Which I kind of have, even though I haven't read all of his books, mostly because I had to pull back a bit because they tend to be the newer works that tend to be a bit more exciting. I have to kind of pace myself because I can get overstimulated. Which is another reason why I tend to read older books, because the pacing is generally what I can handle.
Right.
Now, if I've read the book before, it's not such a problem. But, yeah, I will say that.
I'd have to say I have things in different genres. Agatha Christie is lately, but quickly. A relationship, a comfort read type of thing.
Yeah, because you only started reading her stuff over the past few years.
Jack London was one for a long time. Sherlock Holmes, Conan Doyle. And
you've always had a deeper connection to Conan Doyle than I've had.
Yeah, Conan Doyle, and I found out recently that it's just not just his mysteries. I've started reading his fantasies, and I like those too. So Conan Doyle, I like... I said Christie. To a lesser extent, some of the others that are mysteries. I tend to really hook onto mysteries, but
for both of us, that was a jumping off point for our reading. So
Father Brown, which is Chesterton, and Brother Cadfael, and then things like Louisa May Alcott, and
now,
Ellen
would you
Montgomery.
say that that's a writer that you think that you've built a relationship with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Ellen Montgomery, I started, Louisa May Alcott and Ellen Montgomery, I started at a fairly young age. Ellen Montgomery, you think that she's not as good a writer as Alcott, but I picked her up when I was in a very rough part of my life, and she was very much of a comfort read for me, and I like most of her material very much in terms of her original Anne series.
Well, I do feel that a part of your view of her writing is definitely colored by your experiences with her early on.
Yeah, well, it was, I had very difficult time at a certain point in my life. And so she was there along with Alcott and a few other people. Conan Doyle was there when I had my kids, when I miscarried and all that kind of stuff. He was there. So these people I feel like I have a relationship with, some more than others. Like I said, Agatha Christie's later to the party, but she's, and then I have some of my religious books, of course. I have a book I'm reading now, which I think is going to become like that. A lot of things that have to deal with trust or abandonment or something like that. Those are also relationship kind of books.
It is mentioning specifically a writer.
Well, the writers are like John. I don't know the name of the author.
Well, the reason why I mentioned specifically writer, because a lot of times with the religious books, it might be like a one.
No, not these people.
Okay.
Because they're either saints who've written multiple, or they're like, what's his name, Jean-Philippe? Because
I don't know the full name. I'm sorry, I can't help you there.
But if I need to be specific about one, I'd have to say Teresa Lisieux. Because Teresa Lisieux. But yeah.
So first change. Imagine you have finished a book that you did not enjoy, or DNF a book. Who's a dependable author you will turn to who won't let you down? Okay, so that's where Ellen Montgomery comes in for me, unless it's Anne, the first book in the Anne series. I mean, I guess I finished some of the other ones.
Well, she didn't say what was the book that you DNF. They just said who is the dependable author.
Yeah, I mean, but my point is that I guess I have finished. I haven't actually ever DNF'd one of her books. I just have not gone on to read the rest of the series because didn't enjoy it.
See, I did DNF Emma.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping that, first of all, having read some of the other things in the time period, and then we're reading it together.
Right, but what I would do with her, though, is I would go to someone like an Alcott or a Montgomery that's kind of sort of similar and a comfort type of read.
Neither of those.
I'm talking about the feel. Okay, you may not think so, but you have ideas and opinions. I'm not getting into your ideas and opinions because they're
Ellen Montgomery can't write the depth of character.
I didn't say she could. I didn't. That doesn't mean she doesn't have the same kind of feel for me. And for someone like Emma, I don't really want the depth. I just want comfort. It's like having chicken noodle soup. It's
well, I mean, no one claimed Austen was comfort.
That's what I'm saying. After Emma, it says, "What do you go to?" It doesn't say...
Yeah. Although you wouldn't necessarily say you would go to Austen for DNFing.
No, I'm just saying that when I DNF'd Austen, because you mentioned a particular book, and I don't see myself...
And that's why I had to change my answer from Ellen Montgomery, because I've never DNF'd.
Yeah, I rarely DNF books. I did one of Austen, which I'm going to be rereading, so that won't count. And I DNF'd Maltese Falcon, which I love the movie, and I DNF'd Elizabeth and Her German Garden.
I think part of the problem is that if I've DNF'd an author's book, I'm not likely to pick up that author. Well, if I truly DNF the book, not like I'm going to come back to you later.
No, I won't. I won't read Dashiell Hammett because I don't. I will watch his movies.
Yeah,
because they're usually in the 30s and 40s and they're clean.
Because I don't have a good track record right now for Dostoevsky. Because I have not yet managed to finish The Brother Karamazov. Now, I could see a world where his stuff might be heavy enough that he might be a multiple DNF that I would be able to depend on and maybe try to come back later.
Wait a minute, what are you saying?
I could see a world where Dostoevsky, I might DNF multiple of his works several times, but want to still come back to later and still be able to depend on him and not be a...
Right, I don't think that's what they're asking, though. I think they're asking who is an author that we would turn to that won't let us down. So I read a horrible mystery. I'm going to Agatha Christie.
No, that's not what the question is.
Yes, it is.
The question is, I misunderstood the question.
Yes.
Oh, well, in that case, I apologize. I misunderstood. I thought they were saying, like, which author could you go to that you were sure that they will, they won't let you down. You'll have to DNF them. That's how I read that question.
No.
Okay, well then Agatha Christie.
Yeah, Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christie 100%. Actually, I can't... No other author would top her for that.
See, I have a couple... Because I'm a mood reader. So it depends. Agatha Christie's one. Conan Doyle's one.
I mean, a lot of classics are like that.
All the classics. Like,
well, not all the classics.
Well, I mean, Agatha Christie, Conan Doyle, Louisa May Alcott.
But if I was to say an author, I could see Louisa May Alcott. But most likely, if I really... And I know one time I turned to Lilies of the Field, but I've only read that one book by that author. So, if I was to say one author I can consistently say, this is my comfort person, that they will always make me feel good, Agatha Christie.
Yeah. I have to say, and this is strange because it's the one book. I haven't read a whole lot of Chesterton, but I will always go to Father Brown. I love Father Brown.
I mean, technically, you have one book there, but you have multiple books within that book. You have an omnibus. So
a lot of them are short stories.
Yeah, but it's an omnibus of short stories. Yeah. So, like, what I'm saying is you have the innocence of Father Brown. You have So that's why I meant it's an omnibus that has short stories, but it has multiple short story books within it.
You can't ask me to choose just one. So I don't do just one.
I would say surefire Agatha Christie.
Yeah. I do love Agatha Christie.
And she's been my comfort read since I was 10.
Yeah, see, I have always had different ones, but they're the same different ones. Like, there's always Sherlock Holmes. Agatha Christie put her way in there. I think I can put Jane Austen in there now, with caveat that I'm not sure about Emma. And so, things like that. I like to have variety because it depends on what's bothering me.
Right. And I think when I'm thinking about it, I'm also thinking, besides if I just read a book that I didn't enjoy, I'm also thinking of, I'm having trouble thinking, or I don't want to think. Austen, I tend to, want to think a little bit more when I'm reading Austen, although I can read Austen for comfort. But if I just want to have a good time, not have to think too hard, that's where I turn to my Golden Age mysteries, specifically.
Well, I
Christie.
think I can't articulate as well with books because I have so many books, but I can do it better with movies. I had for a little while, and I still don't know what it was that was doing this to me, but I had trouble breathing.
Well, I personally think it might have been, just some stuff you get with fibro.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, the comfort for me in movies was noir. People say laughter, but it was too much. I couldn't watch Three Stooges. I couldn't watch comedy. I had to watch noir, The Big Sleep, Casablanca.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I didn't used to go to mysteries when I'd watch for comfort. If I was watching something for comfort, I used to go to the BBC miniseries for Austen stuff, which is funny because I don't necessarily turn to her writing necessarily. I can turn to her writing for comfort, but during some of the worst of my not feeling well, I would turn to her miniseries. I actually ended up picking up. I have set the Sensibility one I like. I haven't yet gotten the Pride and Prejudice one I like, but I need to. But it was the right feel to it, and
no, I get that. There's always that kind of thing because it depends on what you're looking at. Like Mother Angelica's books don't have the same feel for me as her Mother Angelica Classics, I think is what it's called now. And if I wasn't feeling well, I would sit at my desk and just let her stream because.
Now, part of it is also like, okay, so did I read Austen first or did I watch Austen first? I actually don't know. Oh, I wonder.
I watched it first.
I might have watched first because I have a vague memory of maybe someone introducing me to the Pride and Prejudice miniseries in college. And that might have been when I started up with Austen.
Right.
Because I've never been able to pinpoint when it was I started with Austen. It's kind of a blur to me. And I'm wondering if someone introduced me to the miniseries for Pride and Prejudice in college.
Right.
That could be. Because like I said, never been able to pinpoint it.
And I know when I start with, I watched Austen when we were moving from England, so you're talking about 1996 or 1997, and I never read Austen until I tried to read Emma, and I said, that's it.
Emma's a terrible one to start with. Absolutely terrible one to start with.
I like the version I saw in the miniseries, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll read it.
When we walk through Emma together, we can complain about Emma and over Mr. Knightley.
I mean, I have to admit that I was very adverse to Jane Austen at all. And
I had to work so hard.
And now she's
gotten up there for you.
She has.
To a point where you were like, I need to know you were telling me you had to work very hard not to peek at the ending.
Because I want to smack Edmund in the head.
We have to keep reading at a consistent pace for Mansfield Park because she's having to fight the urge to finish the book ahead. Do not pull a Henry Tilney.
Excuse me?
Remember in Northanger Abbey when they were reading
that stupid book.
And they were reading anyway, they were I don't know why I can't pull her name out of my head, and I'm going to be annoyed when it comes to my head eventually.
Was it an actual book?
Yes. They were reading...
Was it one of the Bronte sisters?
Oh, no. This was a Gothic novel that was popular during the period of time that Austen was alive. Bronte's came after Austen.
Okay.
Anne Radford. Anne Radford.
I'm unfamiliar with the Brontes. That's our next...
Yeah. Radford? I probably said that wrong. Anyway. But it was one of her... She was well known for the Gothic novel at the time. And he finished a specific one when his sister walked away.
I remember that.
So, that was the reference.
I want to shake him, and I want him to...
Edmund, not Henry Tilney.
No. Well, yeah. There's more...
We'll
but... Some other time.
So, yeah. And also another reason why I don't think, even though the Agatha Christie's books are comfort reads for me, her shows and movies never can be.
See, now her shows and movies sometimes are more, because I started with them.
Because I didn't start with them. I'm sitting there like, they did that wrong. They did that. Oh, they changed.
She is the worst person to watch anything with.
But the thing is, they have ruined her stuff so badly.
Some of it. Some
of them they have gone like, oh, that ending? Nah, we don't want that ending.
Some of them they've actually flipped the endings, and that And that I have to just say, okay, it's a different
And
story.
it's not Suchet's fault. Suchet is an amazing
The
Poirot.
whole cast is wonderful.
I do not have a problem with the casting for Suchet's Agatha Christie works. Suchet's Poirot. I just hate everything else about it.
It's I woke up this morning and wanted to change everything. Hated everything. Yes, it is a reference. Yes, I did misquote it. It is a
That
movie.
was Undercover Blues, right?
No, it was Tomb Raider. She wakes up.
Oh, you're right.
The UPS guy comes in and she comes and it's all messed up.
Oh, you're right. I mean, the funny thing is, I could see the wife in Undercover Blues saying something like that.
I can see Angelina Jolie just walking down the stairs. I think she's in that white dress.
I remember when she said it now.
She's like, woke up this morning, I just hated everything.
And it was really funny the way she said it.
Yeah.
But because I could see the wife in Undercover Blues saying something like that, that's what kind of jumped out at me.
Okay,
but yes, so that's why, even though Agatha Christie is a comfort read for me, she's not a comfort watch for me.
And I know that that's not actually the answer to the question, but if you ask us questions on books, it's going to flow into movies.
Probably.
So
Okay, so then the next one is middle order. What are the last 3 books you've read that were you to mark them out of 5, you would give a definite 3? And that's why I have my book journal here.
I don't have a book journal, so I don't know.
Because I have the last 3 books that I would mark as 3s.
I don't
in
rate
here.
my books. That's not, I don't like to rate things. So
I still have to put the ratings in here, but I know. Okay, so the first one, which will be the last of the ones that I read, was Christiana Brand's Death in High Heels.
only a 3?
Because 3 isn't bad, it's just okay. Then actually, I would say The Golden Ball and Other Stories, that particular short story collection, it's not as mystery oriented as a lot of the other ones. It is more some of the supernatural ended one side, more supernaturally ones, some of the more romance type ones. This is more like her dabbling in other types. It's not like some of her one. Well, obviously not like the Labors of Hercules, which is definitely a mystery short story collection. So Golden Ball and Other Stories, that's a 3-star. And then the other 3-star that I would have to mention is The Doctor, His Wife, and the Clock by Anna Catherine Green. Which sounds weird after I just said that in a different video that I would mention her as someone that needs to be better known. This is a novella. This is not a normal rating I would give for her work. But this novella very much leaned into the gothic nature that I talk about for her, where she tends to be a gothic mystery, and sometimes heavy on the gothic. And this one seemed a bit heavy on the gothic. So, yes, those would be the last 3 books that I read that I would give a 3. That I did give a 3.
I don't usually rate books any lower than about a 4 or 3.5. I'm trying to think, because I know like the one about the garden, I think I gave it a 2, and I probably should have given it less. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I think one of the closest ones are maybe one of Christine Walken's books.
Oh,
the last one.
Yeah.
I think I would give that a solid 3 because it just seemed like an anticlimax. Actually, it was the first book. We read it backwards.
It was the last one we read.
It was the last one we read, but it was her first book. And
Sorry about that. I had an alarm go off, so I'm going to splice this.
okay, so I was gonna say, I don't know what you heard me say already. What was the first book I said?
You said the Christine Walken's.
No, what was I said one before that?
Elizabeth, but that's a 2-star.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with Christine Walken's her first book. I forget what it's called, but about conversions and stuff like that. And it was just not really, to my mind. To be fair, we read it in reverse order, the 3 books in reverse order. So it seemed like it was kind of anticlimactic. So that was probably a 3. Trying to think. Most of the books I've read, I've been blessed that they have been good books. I can't think.
Which is interesting because you are a lot more loath to DNF than I am. So either you choose a lot better than I do.
Well, if I DNF them, they're not a 3.
But my point is that you don't even do that. So for the fact that you are loath to DNF and you don't have any 3s.
Well, I like Anne's Elizabeth's Garden is a 2.
But the point is, it's very rare for you to go below a 4 or a 3.5. So my point is, for the fact that you are disinclined or a little bit loath to DNF, and yet you still rarely do below 4, either shows that you are nicer in your reviews than I am, or you just pick better than I do.
I had one that I can't remember the name. It was a fantasy by an independent author, and I was reading it from one of my Catholic groups, and I got through the first one, and I
remember you talking about
that one. I wish I could remember the name,
but
of
I
it.
didn't know the title because I had no interest in reading it.
Yeah, it was I would have given that one a 3, and I DNF'd the second one, and then because it was like a series. I actually bought the series. You remember? I said I can't read it. And there was another one by an independent author that's actually available on the Catholic books, and that one was probably about a 3.5 because it was very convoluted and it was hard for me to follow. I could say what would make it a 3 or a 4, but because I'm kind of trying to make it a policy to read things I know are really good, either Ty has given me a recommendation or somebody else has given me a recommendation, then I will have like 4s mostly. I usually give between 3.5 or more to about 4.5 or 4.75.
Well, I don't consider a 3 a bad rating, which is why I have the number of 3s that I do. I consider 3 to be good, but I won't reread again in a hurry. Whereas 4 is a quite good. I'll reread in the future, but I'm not sure when I'll reread it. And 5 is, this is excellent.
Well, my 5s are things like Quadrail or Hunger Games or something like that, where I could not put it down.
Yeah.
So that's and some
a lot of times a 5 will also, something might get bumped up to 5 if I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have I mentioned in videos? People have heard me mention over and over again, John Adams' Under Fire. It's a book it's always like living rent free in the back of my head.
Well, that's why I had 2 series of books that. Hunger Games, which I fought tooth and nail, I didn't want to read because everybody was reading it and I didn't want to read it because I had to be contrary. So I read it and I would come back to the last few chapters over and over. I wanted to see PETA and I can't think of her, Katniss, their kids and all that. I wanted to see all that. The other one was Timothy Zahn's Quadrail.
But now we're definitely not answering the question anymore.
I don't care. I know this is not meandering channel, but I don't care. We're nerding out.
Yeah.
So
I'm just making sure this isn't answering a later question.
Okay.
But okay.
We're talking about comfort reads still, aren't we?
No, we're talking about the last 3 books that are rated 3.
Okay, yes, we are talking. Yeah, this is a 5. This is a 5. It is under a 5.
No, we're not mentioning about it being under a 5. We're talking about rated 3.
Well, I'm saying that this one's a 5 because I would.
How does that have anything to do with the...
If you let me finish, then we can go past this question. Because I am going to get this out.
Okay.
Okay. So,
because I permit you to.
Okay, good. So, anyway, because I'm going to talk right over her until she lets me finish. Because you do that on mine. Anyway, so the 5, this one was one that I didn't want to read the next in the series because the characters that were in the Timothy Zahn were not the characters in that last Timothy Zahn series. So that's what made it.
Well, that's why you've never been able to give Angel Mass in the past really good. Well, actually, you read Angel Mass before the Quadrail. Quadrail was your real jumping off.
I read Angel Mass before everything. No, my jumping off for Timothy Zahn was not Quadrail. It was Dragonback or whatever it's called.
Oh, I did get you started with Dragonback first.
Oh, I love that series.
I did get you finished with Dragonback first. Yeah, because I tried you with Quadrail initially, and you weren't quite ready for Quadrail.
I read Quadrail right away when you gave it to me.
I'm not Quadrail. I apologize. I started you off with Angel Mass initially. You weren't ready for Angel Mass. Dragonback got you going, and then I was like, you need to read Quadrail.
Quadrail's
But
okay, so we've gotten away from the 5s to the 3s to the 5s, but yeah, 3s.
She preferred to talk about the 5s, apparently.
Yeah, I do things like that.
Okay, so now that she's changed that question... Wicket Keeper. Tell us about a strong or eccentric character. So, because there's so many ways that you can define strong. And eccentric, again,
That's subjective.
is subjective, because I would argue you could say that Fanny Price is strong, but not in your traditional definition of strength. It's a moral strength.
See, I would have gone right for Sam Gamgee. It's just anything like that. My go-to tends to be Sam. I just love Sam Gamgee.
But now, if you went to someone like eccentric, you could say Lord Peter Wimsey.
Oh, absolutely, Lord Peter Wimsey. It would be.
Or, I mean, I guess you could say to lesser extent Poirot.
Yes, I was thinking about that, actually. That's really weird, because I just thought of Poirot.
Well, I mean, they kind of are kitty corner. Like, if you mention eccentricity for Lord Peter Wimsey, who is actually quite a bit more eccentric than Poirot is.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, part of it is he's actually trying to be eccentric.
Well, he's trying to be excessively foreign.
No, I mean, like, for Lord Peter Wimsey, he's playing up his natural tendencies.
I really like the narrator I have for the audiobooks, because he gives
you see, that narrator irritated the heck out of me.
I really like him.
I couldn't stand him. I couldn't listen to him.
Oh, it makes me laugh.
I found his voice to be so annoying.
Oh, I like him. Usually we agree on the narrators, but I really like this one.
I also don't tend to prefer narrators for fictional works, because
Except for Hugh Fraser.
Well, even then, I don't tend to listen to it a lot, because I've read a lot of these books beforehand, and I like to get my own voice of the characters in my head. And I also don't engage as deeply with an audiobook.
See, for me, because I started with the movies, I already have Hugh Fraser in my head, so it's not a problem.
And Hugh Fraser is a good reader, and if I'm to go to an Agatha Christie reader, I will go to him.
And to be fair, he's not as much of my favorite for a reader, but Poirot also does it.
And Jap.
And Jap. They both do a good job.
I prefer Jap to Suchet's reading.
Yeah, Suchet is probably the third one, but they're all good. And quirky, I think Tommy and Tuppence.
Okay, I can see that, particularly Tuppence.
Tuppence.
Because Tommy himself isn't... Tommy is the...
He's the straight man.
Yeah, he's the straight man. But I wouldn't put him as more eccentric than Lord Peter Wimsey.
Oh no, nobody's more eccentric than Lord Peter Wimsey, unless you want to say Harley Quinn or somebody.
I don't think we should bring comics into it, because we can go quite.
No, Harley Quinn.
Oh, that Harley Quinn. Oh, I thought you meant like.
No, I'm actually staying linear. You're the one who's bopping us.
Well, I mean, when you said Harley Quinn and eccentric, I'm gonna be thinking Harleen Quinzel.
Agatha Christie.
Because I don't think that Harley Quinn is enigmatic. I wouldn't say he's eccentric.
I think he's pretty eccentric.
I think because I don't really know if he's human.
I'm not sure what he is. That's why
I say I'm not sure if he's eccentric as so much as he's enigmatic.
I don't know. Until I know if he's human or not, he's eccentric.
Because I think he's like not an avatar, but he's interesting.
I love Harley
He's almost
Quinn.
like a guardian angel.
Except that he pushes that. Who is it? He always pushes into cases.
Oh, Satterwhite.
Yeah.
Yeah. He makes him his. For the most part, he works through him.
Yeah, it's almost like an angel working through a human being, or God working through a human being.
It's his agent. Now, I would say if you want to go for eccentric and still keep in that area, you could say Mrs. Oliver.
Yes, to some extent. Yes.
I mean, just the way that
her apples and her hair.
You see, I was thinking of
her peacock.
She expects everyone to recognize her voice. As soon as you pick up the phone, she'll start talking to you, and it's just like, "Who is this, please?" And it's consistent through the books.
Lucy. She's not a main character.
Oh,
Lucy.
From the Hollow. Yes.
Oh my gosh. She's talking from another room to herself, and then she comes in and wakes up Midge or whoever it is she's talking about. And so what do you think of that?
And she had this whole conversation with you in her head, but then the real you is supposed to remember the conversation that she had with you in her head. And they said her husband, from long experience, learned to lock his door.
Yes. And the thing is that you have to understand about Lucy, if you're not familiar with Agatha Christie, is Lucy's sharp. Yeah. Okay? She's sharp. But she's out there. Just...
And there's a character in Spider's Web who's a bit eccentric, although maybe not
I
to
haven't
Lucy
read
level.
it yet.
I'm not going to say more, but you do need to read Spider's Web. So yeah, I think we haven't covered so much the strong ones as we have the eccentric, but it was...
well, we did cover Sam a little bit.
And we also mentioned Fanny as a way of a morally strong character.
Sam is also morally... I don't see him as being physically strong,
I don't tend to gravitate necessarily towards the physically strong.
I like people who are morally strong, because physical strength is something that... It's accidental, almost.
I mean, there are definitely characters who work at it. And
well, Aragorn.
And you're going to see...
Who has both.
For me... If I'm going to see more of the combination too, that's where you went heading more into comic area, because I don't tend to read as much about those kind of characters who are necessarily physically strong in my books. Those are going to come up more in my comic books.
Well, the ones I see like that, like I said, are Aragorn and things like that, who are, they've trained and they've,
Because there's plenty of even action books that I would say that I would say that I enjoy the books and these are action books, but I wouldn't necessarily point to that character being particularly strong. Now, I would say I would point to a Katniss being particularly strong.
Right. And I know that Jason Bourne, I don't read the Bourne books, I watch the movies, but he is trained and he's strong. Not super strong, but, he's humanly strong.
And for Katniss, it's, again, moral strength versus a physical strength. And also a strength of survival strength. The other one I mentioned is Marie from
Wolf Hunt. She's another one who's morally strong.
But those are the ones that I tend to think of when I think of a strong character. And whether or not Frodo needed help at the end, he is an incredibly strong character to Frodo Baggins.
I don't agree with that.
The only reason... Mom, I don't know if anyone else could have made it with the ring as far as he did.
I think Sam could have. My bias towards Sam is very apparent.
I love Sam, but I don't know if it couldn't have broken him down for that period of time.
I don't know.
It was Sam's love of Frodo really pulled him through.
Well, Sam,
and you can argue one way or another about that,
and it is different in the books and the movies. And my memories foremost right now are from the movies. So I don't. The
movies did Frodo dirty, in my opinion.
I think the movies didn't do justice to a few of the characters.
Faramir is one. That's another strong character.
Even though I love the movies, I love all three of the movies. Not the stuff that comes out.
And but you know that apparently. Christopher Tolkien wasn't fond of any adaptations.
Oh, really?
Now, I know that he would never let Ringo a power pack.
Oh, right.
He would never give him that his green light. But, yeah.
But my point is that I agree with you that they were probably given short shrift, and that's why my memories are frozen, because I haven't read Lord of the Rings in a while, or The Hobbit. So it's hard for me to remember what happened in the book when I've got the movie front and center.
Right.
But Sam and Aragorn have always been my favorites, and I may be doing a disservice to Frodo, but
Frodo is a very strong character. He's never been my favorite, but he is a very, very strong character to make it as far as he did, with the temptation level and the ring getting heavier and heavier and heavier. All of that power focused on trying to turn him, and for him to only break at that last moment, at the very mouth of the fire, with carrying it the entire way, being hungry, being tired, being
but he was well supported.
But that there's only so much external support can give you, especially nearly dying. Like, he had all these things that occurred while also carrying the ring. So,
well, like I said, you can make all the cases you want to, and arguably that's fine. You're not going to change my mind.
Oh, and I love Sam. I'm like in the Sam fan club. But
Sam and Aragorn kind of run neck and neck for me, and I just
and Aragorn actually didn't even get necessarily his best showing in the movie, even though he got a very good showing.
No, he didn't.
But yes, so
I think Boromir got a good showing.
Boromir did get a good showing in the movie.
But we're digressing.
But yes, so those, again, we're tending to lean on the kind of strength that is the moral strength that does lean into the kind of characters that we like to read. And the one,
I think that arguably that kind of maybe is indicative of the fact that we are very character driven as opposed to plot. Plot is easy to see because it's physical. You have to develop the character to see the moral strength.
Because a lot of times, even if I say I look at the comics, I'm going to be looking at the strength that drives them, what makes them strong.
The psychology.
Because for me, what makes Superman strong isn't his actual strength, it's his humanity. Yes, as an alien.
Yes.
But
no, he's human.
That is what makes him strong. And the same thing for a Clark Kent, for a Batman. That is the strength. They might happen to incidentally have the strength or have worked very hard to get the strength in the case of Batman. But that's not truly their strength.
We get someone like a Tony Stark. Again, he's got kind of a mixture of a Batman, Superman type. He's got the intelligence and the humanity. That's what eats him up, and that's why he has so many issues.
So that is, if I happen to say that a strong, physically strong character is strong, that's not the strength I'm thinking of when I say that. I am thinking of the strength of their character, their ability to push through whatever, or their, whatever that strength, moral strength, their humanity, whatever that happens to be, especially if it's humanity in spite of the odds, in spite of life trying to beat them down.
Well, it's also like the person who has the strength to walk away instead of punch it out. If they know when to fight and when to walk away. They don't have to...
Coward of the County.
Coward of the County.
Kenny Rogers song.
Yes.
So, apparently it's also a movie, though.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently they made a movie about it.
All right.
Okay. Not that song needed a movie. That song was a movie. If you listen to that song, it's a very visual song. Okay, so the next question.
Wicket Keeper?
All-rounder.
All-rounder.
A writer you think is excellent in multiple genres.
A. Milne.
Yes. Now, we've only read, 3 genres for him?
But still multiple.
Yeah, still multiple genres. Let's see. Because a lot of my authors that I read do tend to... I haven't read Father Knox's other works outside of his mystery, so I can't argue about...
Yeah, right now I kind of stick to my lane stick to the lane that they're famous for right now.
Or...
because arguably I'm not familiar because I don't read him. Stephen King has a bunch of different genres. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not overly familiar with him. I don't like the way he writes or what he writes. But my understanding is that he writes across multiple genres with multiple nom de plumes. So I guess he would be one, and he's supposed to be very good at it.
And I haven't read, or if I have read, it's only been part of Barbara Mertz's nonfiction in ancient Egypt, and her Amelia Peabody books. Plus, she's written multiple mystery books in under other pseudonyms. But I can't remember enough about her work as Barbara Mertz.
Now, arguably, you could say Alison Weir. But Alison Weir...
But you don't like her...
I don't like her fiction. I read part of her fiction and had to stop. So that according to Talia, her nonfiction is very good.
It's good. I wouldn't call it very good.
Did you see what I
have it already. I've read it already. I
was wondering if you had it. Yeah, it sounded familiar, but it
most of her nonfiction I've either read or I own. Just because she was my jumping off point and getting back into history again, reading history for fun.
But I can't think. I mean, I guess I would maybe go. You could do a Tolkien or a Lewis or a Chesterton or someone who does fiction and nonfiction.
I wouldn't. Tolkien doesn't do nonfiction.
He did the translation of the Bible.
No, that's Father Knox.
No, he did some translation of the Bible.
What did he translate for the Bible? Because Father Knox has the Knox translation.
It's not a whole Bible. He did a book of the Bible. I don't remember which it is, but he did. Because Daddy was not liking until he found that out as well.
I had never heard that.
Yes, he did.
But he's done translation work, yes, but I don't know that translation work counts as doing. And he, other than that, would have been.
Did he write plays?
No.
I know about poetry.
He stuck pretty strongly in the fantasy genre. He talked to Lewis about doing something sci-fi, but he never really got much farther than the conversation.
Lewis, and this is really bad, but I don't really consider sci-fi and fantasy different. Maybe because I read so much sci-fi fantasy.
Right.
Not
where
science
they kind
fiction
of
or fantasy. they kind of straddle each other.
Yeah.
I mean, your Star Wars and your stuff like that has...
Yeah, because there are some fantasies that take place in space versus like the more techie level. Now, I think that Timothy Zahn's example is someone who definitely writes a sci-fi fantasy. He's very sci-fi, but he also has fantastical elements.
And some of them are more sci-fi, and some of them are more fantasy.
Yes, I agree with you there.
Tolkien and Lewis and Chesterton are all very fantasy. Although I think, does Lewis get more into the sci-fi?
Yes, that's Swiftly Tilting Planets and Madeleine L'Engle.
Okay, I know this one.
It's the I can't remember the name of his sci-fi series.
Yeah, it's something on a planet though.
Ransom is the name of the main character.
I don't know. I haven't read it.
I read the first book. Surprisingly, Aunt Carmen had it, and I didn't care for it, so I didn't finish it.
I had the book and I never read it, and so I need to maybe look into getting a Kindle form.
So it's very Lewis tends to like to smack you in the face with his allegory, and it's another smack you in the face with your allegory, as I recall it. And I'm not a huge fan of smack you in the face with allegory.
Madeleine L'Engle has science fiction in her fantasy, because they talk about the science part of the test.
But to go back to the focus of people who write multiple genres,
well, if you look at Conan Doyle, he writes mystery and he writes fantasy.
He is a good example, yes. And I have read... And he writes historical fiction, because...
I haven't read his historical fiction
I picked up...
Unless you count Sherlock Holmes.
Well, he actually would have been contemporary to Holmes for a certain
But
period
right
of time.
now we consider it historical fiction, because...
it would be considered contemporary fiction.
Not for us.
But it's... is it historical fiction if the author wrote during that time period? I don't think you would call that truly historical fiction.
You count Jane Austen?
No, I don't. I don't count it as historical fiction. Well, that's wrong.
Fiction. Oh, well, it says you.
Historical fiction should be, as far as I understand the genre, historical fiction is someone writing something not of their era.
That could be. But I think if I'm reading Jane Austen, that is not contemporary fiction for me.
Okay, it's not contemporary fiction for you, but I would consider there needs to be another word outside of historical fiction. Because historical fiction, what I have always understood historical fiction to be, is someone from a different period of time writing something that's from their past.
Well, that could be a definition. But if I'm reading Jane Austen or I'm reading Sherlock Holmes, that is not my time.
Because I tend to actually avoid something that says historical fiction, because I don't care for historical fiction.
That's fine, but that doesn't mean that's not what it is.
But I like fiction that was written during the era that the author is writing.
That might be. That just might be a subset.
I think it's called classics now.
It could be. It could be. But my point is, even if it's not, it could be a subset.
Or a lot of times they will say X era fiction.
We have these kind of conversations all the time.
Yes, I think Conan Doyle is a good example. I have read his actual historical fiction. No, I'm sorry. I read his more science fiction, which is I read Lost World.
Yes, that's really good. And I read the one with the time machine.
I haven't read the one with the time machine. I've read Lost World. I've read his Sherlock Holmes, and I have yet to read his Sir Nigel and the White Company.
I have that. I
have his whole Sir Nigel. It's 2 books. So he did write in multiple genres. I believe he wrote even a few things. Well, I know he wrote things about some of his crazy ideas about spiritualism and stuff like that. I know he wrote about that. So
I know does a 7% solution touch on some of that, because it has Freud and everything in it.
Well, that's a fan fiction. Pastiche. It's a pastiche. It's
I forget who wrote that.
It's basically Sigmund Freud's fan fiction. Sigmund Freud is a Mary Sue in that.
Even in the movie, it is.
Yes, he's very much of a Mary Sue. It's like see how great Sigmund Freud is. He can do better than everybody,
including Sherlock Holmes.
So, I'm not a fan of 7% Solution.
No, I like the book. I mean, I like the movie.
I don't. I do.
I like the movie. I'm a little more.
I've never liked the movie as a thing, and I'm not even a huge.
I'm a little more flexible than.
But the thing is, I'm actually not. Like, if there was an area where maybe you could get me a give a little bit, it might be Sherlock Holmes, because I'm not even as big a Sherlock Holmes fan as you are. I just feel like I'd never liked how much Sigmund Freud was pushed over Holmes in that.
The only reason I was able to give that some leeway was because he was supposed to be under the influence of drugs.
He was such a Mary Sue.
He was, but
I've also heard them called Gary Stews for guys.
Okay, never heard that before.
No, Mary Sue, I think, is the official term.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people who are not in the fan fiction world, Mary Sue, it's kind of bled into other areas of like movies and stuff. It's a term that's being used. Mary Sue came out of fan fiction where I guess someone wrote a character called Mary Sue in a Star Trek fan fiction and made them best at everything.
Think of Rey in Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. Careful, there might be people who are fans of that slop.
I'm sorry. That's my feeling. If they don't like it, I apologize.
Well, I called it slop for a second, so
yeah,
like
I mean, I they're entitled to their opinion.
to their wrong
even
opinion.
if it's wrong. They're entitled to their opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Okay?
So yes, that is. I think Conan Doyle is going to be our main person, and A.A. Milne for multiple genres. Just because, even though we haven't read necessarily all of their work in those multiple genres,
yeah, I haven't read.
I know Father Knox has written in multiple genres, but I haven't read any but the one genre for him.
And I know I haven't read. I want to read A.A. Milne's plays.
And technically, Christie has written multiple genres. I've read her work as Mary Westmacott. I liked the writing. I didn't like the characters, and so I didn't finish it. And they were just all very unpleasant, and I kept waiting for someone to be killed.
If I'm reading Agatha Christie because she's so tied up in her Poirot or her Mrs. Oliver or Sergeant Superintendent Battle, and all those people, I expect somebody to die.
Yes, and I kept going, oh, that person's gonna die. Oh no, this isn't that mystery.
He's thoroughly unpleasant, but he's supposed to die. Why isn't he dying?
And I know she's written some nonfiction. She has
on Egyptology, right?
No, what it is, it's kind of like a memoir where, first of all, her actual autobiography, and then she has one or two where she talks about some of her stuff with Max. So it's not necessarily directly about the Egyptology, more like stuff around it.
Incidental.
Yeah. So like life on a dig kind of thing. So you could argue that, yes, she has done multiple genres, even if I don't like everything she's done in those genres. Whereas I actually can see myself potentially liking multiple things for Conan Doyle
absolutely.
In multiple genres, even though I would stay far away from his weird spiritualism stuff. He toward the end, after Houdini had passed on, he still wasn't completely convinced that Houdini didn't have some sort of spiritualistic powers. Even Houdini said, look, man, this is a trick. I tell you, this is a trick. I am actively, like, this is how I do the trick. Conan Doyle had his own ideas. Anyway. Spinner, a writer who completely bamboozled and deceived you with a plot twist.
It doesn't usually happen, but
sometimes Christie has done it. Usually when it happens, especially if they didn't lay it down ahead of time, I get mad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you did not set that up at all. Because I got mad with, I think the book's called Quick Curtain. I think author's name is Alan Melville. He's a British Library crime classic book. And toward the end, it's like the ending comes out of nowhere and just like, no.
Well, it's like I think of Poirot in his, I think it was the, something about the flat. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was a short story adapted for the TV. But anyway, the thing is that Hastings takes him to a play and they bet on Poirot being able to get the name of the person who did it before the play is over with. And so he hands
The other one that catches people by surprise, I think the first time that they read it, would be The Murder of Roger Ackroyd.
Is that the one where he
That's the one
ends up in jail?
No. That's the sister. The busybody sister.
Oh yeah, I know which one it is, but I'm trying to think of. Oh yes, okay, I remember.
I can't ruin the ending.
No,
of
I
that
get.
one.
I just had to recalibrate. Okay.
Yeah,
I
can't ruin the ending of that one. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, because of the point of view.
Yes, and the other one of hers that I would say that a lot of times, if the first time you read it, you might get caught by surprise for. Actually, probably will get caught by surprise for is then and then there were none, Kendall Indians.
Yeah, I keep getting that one mixed up because I get the movie version in my head. It's another one.
Oh, the movie made a travesty of that. Can't forgive it. Anyway, unforgivable.
You mean like making Pluto not a planet anymore?
At least it's just the definition of a planet change. There's no forgiving changing the plot.
Well, I think the worst one, even worse than that, is Cards on the Table.
Oh, that was a travesty.
That was horrible.
A travesty.
It was absolutely horrible. Even I think that one was horrible. The way they changed the stuff in that one. Cards on the Table is we're not going to tell you about the ending, but it's the one with Santana. Yeah. His name is definitely meant to
make you think of Satan. Because they even say he's a Mephistopheles.
The name for Satan that begins with an M.
Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
I can't say it. Probably because I don't have it in front of me.
Mephistopheles, yeah.
But
yeah, from Cats.
That's the only reason why I was able to remember was because of Cats. Thank you, Andrew Lloyd Webber, for that small favor. So yes, I would say that Christy has deceived me
a couple times.
Yeah. Particularly on the first read. Later reads, of course not, because I have been reading her stuff for years. But I'm trying to think of a recent book where they caught me by surprise. Most of the recent ones, even if I didn't expect it at the beginning, if it was well set up, I could at least look back and go, oh, okay, yeah.
I see that.
I see where that was building. And so by the time I got to the end, I wasn't completely bamboozled.
It's like, oh, yeah, okay.
And that's actually what I want a lot of times in my stories. I don't want to be bamboozled because then I think you did a poor job of setting it up.
I mean, sometimes they're just good enough writers. Every once in a while, you get a good enough writer that, oh yeah, you go back and you have to reread it. Oh yeah, there's that.
Cool. And for Christy, to be fair, when she does bamboozle you, you can go back and look and see and build up the thing, even if you got completely like blindsided during the original read. Most authors do not have her skill. Even within the Golden Age, no one can stand up to Christy. She's in a league of her own. So, okay. Fast Bowler. Let me see how much. Okay, we're going to have Fast Bowler. Tell us about a writer where you rate their short stories above their novels.
Probably Doyle.
Yeah.
Even though I love Hound of the Baskervilles, I think his short stories, he's very clever at getting things into a small space.
I would agree with you for what I've read of his stuff. I've never liked his full on, because I would say the same thing. Like the Study in Scarlet isn't as good as his short stories either. So
I forgot that was a full length.
Yes, and actually I thought it was way too long. So
I think
it could have been cut in half.
I think he has more skill because he wrote for a magazine.
The Strand.
He wrote for the Strand.
Although a lot of times they would do them in sections, but I agree with you that his short story work is significantly better than his long work.
Not that his long work was bad.
No, it's just I think it stands out pretty strongly.
Now I would venture to say perhaps Jack London.
I haven't read enough.
I haven't read it. So. I'm not positive. I've just started to reread his stuff, so I'm not sure.
And it's been many years since I've read what I had read of his. So yeah, I would say that's who I can immediately bring to mind. Which is actually kind of unusual if you think about it in the mystery genre. A lot of times I would argue that mysteries are better in a longer format because that's why Agatha Christie's novels play so much better than her short stories because she needs that room to kind of work her magic.
I think it's a different mindset because it's a different way of showing the stuff.
Well, also, Conan Doyle comes from the age... So what I was saying about Conan Doyle was that he came from a different era before the Decalogue of Father Knox and all that. He's more like the Anna Catherine Green, who is a bit more for his contemporary. where, and even you noticed it with, from what I understand, with Edgar Allan Poe, where it wasn't so much as you were trying to guide the reader along to figure it out. You weren't trying to match your wits with the reader. You were trying to actually like kind of, you wanted your detective to seem so clever, and it was less about having the reader match wits with you and your detective as it was about, you know, showing, hey, look, see this, look, he figured this out. No one else would have been able to figure this out.
Because no one had the information.
Right, exactly. Whereas when you get to the Golden Age, most of them, it was kind of set up as a, you know, you guys, like, let's play fair, y'all. Let's give people a chance to match wits. And that's where Christie has always come up ahead of the rest, with her ability to bamboozle fairly. Because I've had a few authors where I've been like, even within the Golden Age, where I've been like, no, that wasn't set up. That's not fair. And I felt very cheated when that's happened. But yes, so I would say usually I don't tend to read like a lot outside the mysteries. I can't think of any stories that have kind of like come out of nowhere for me and deceived me with a plot twist.
I think Timothy Zahn can do it on occasion.
I've never had him deceive me with a plot twist. So,
I mean, there are hints, but
yeah. Well, mostly because, I mean, it's just a change of, I don't think the change of circumstances ever been like where it's felt like, oh, such a
right
plot twist, you know, like,
right. No,
and I
right.
think usually you're going to see those plot twists in suspense novels, in mysteries, thrillers, that kind of thing. Some of your typical action adventure type things, even if they have sci-fi elements, or even if they lean a little bit on noir the way that Quadrail does, it doesn't have quite the same level of plot twist that smacks you out of nowhere.
Noir, a full-fledged noir.
Full-fledged noir, yes, but Quadrail isn't a full-fledged noir. No. It has noir elements. So, yeah, usually, if I'm going to think of things with a plot twist, I'm going to be thinking of my mysteries. Okay. And we mentioned...
Already did fast forward.
Yeah, did we do them out of order?
I don't know. I think you just went back to it.
Oh, okay. I think you're right. That was weird. I don't know why I would have done that.
I have no idea.
Because you're talking about the short stories. I think that we went back to it for some reason. I don't know why we did that. Oh, you know why? Because I was mentioning how Christie needs the room to work.
Right.
Whereas, because Conan Doyle doesn't feel like he comes from that era where you don't give the, you know, you aren't trying to match wits with the reader, so he doesn't need the same amount of room as Christie does to lay red herrings and to kind of like fool the reader fairly. So that's why I think you can see a short story in Conan Doyle's era and have it be just as strong, if not stronger, and I would argue stronger than his novels. So I think a lot of times for him, he's actually having to pad the runtime, for lack of a better term, for his longer works, because the way he writes doesn't lend itself as much for a longer mystery. Okay. Then we have Chin Music.
I need to do this one first.
A book, well, we're going to agree with this anyway. A book with brutal or visceral scene.
The reason I want to do it is because I picked it up. I picked up a book that I thought, as we said earlier, this one will be right up my alley. It's called Dwarves. It was a duology. German author.
Translated.
And it was so graphic in the stuff that it
the first book wasn't. It was in the first book or was it the second book?
Yeah, but you never read the second one. I did.
Oh, I guess you're right. I did it. I guess it did scar me that much. I
did read both books, and it was just horrible in terms of the graphic nature of it. In terms of
not like sex scenes or anything.
No. Think more torture, violence, blood.
I've rarely felt that ill.
It actually made you feel ill. I'm surprised that I finished it, actually.
The only other time that I can honestly say that I felt ill like that was during a comic book.
Yes.
And
one of the Batman ones.
One of the Batman ones. It's not like a typical one like you would think like Killing Joke or anything like that. It's one with Professor Pig.
Oh yeah.
It's with Dick as Batman. It's when Bruce is disappear.
Dead.
Yeah, dead. Dick doesn't believe he's dead because Dick never believes Bruce is dead. And usually he's right, but or he's right eventually. But it's with Dick as Batman and Damian as Robin. I'll tell you what, that character, I can't read anything with Professor Pigott. He makes me ill.
He's creepy.
It's
but
he makes me ill in a way Joker never has.
Well, Joker, I don't know what the difference is. It's just I don't know if it's part of the fact that animal type stuff or what. Is he in the comics, like, is he actually an animal like he is in the cartoon?
No, he's not actually an animal. He wears an animal mask.
Okay, that's what it is.
And what he does is just it's nothing to do with animals that makes him so disturbing. It's other parts of that main storyline. It makes me ill.
Yeah, that and dwarves. If you want to check the book out, I don't know who the author is. It's a German author. It is translated. It's a duology. The first one is dwarves. I don't know what the second one is, and it was just the violence in it as you get into the book.
Well, the hard thing wasn't even. I felt like it was the torture, like, and it was.
Well, I don't want. I hesitate to give anything away, but it was just brutal.
It was disgusting.
It was gross. It was just horrible.
I think gross is actually the more correct term than disgusting, because gross can also mean gory.
It was
yeah.
You wonder how people think of this kind of stuff to write about it. It's just
it was just something else. So yeah, those are the things that would come to my mind. It's just every once in a while you just be like, okay, that was much. That was way too much. I'm never reading that again.
And I can't get rid of it.
Yeah. So, and the last one is 12th Man. Refreshments. Suggest a palate cleanser of a book. Well, of course,
it depends on what you're reading.
It depends on what you're reading, but I've used Lilies of the Field as a palate cleanser. I've used just about any Agatha Christie. Most golden ages are going to be a palate cleanser for me. Yeah. But yeah, I pretty consistently go to something like that.
My palate cleanser is just going to be a different genre usually. If I'm reading mysteries, Agatha Christie or something like that, I might go to a fantasy, Terry Brooks or Tolkien or somebody like that. If I'm reading fantasy, then it might be Agatha Christie or Conan Doyle or G.K. Chesterton or something like that.
A lot of times I think of a palate cleanser also as being the thing that will help me get back into reading again.
Yes.
And so that usually does tend to be some of my comfort reads. If I can do nothing else, I can usually read an Agatha Christie or something like that. Although, like I mentioned, I have used in the past Lilies of the Field as a palate cleanser.
And I have used both Louisa May Alcott, either her Little Women or her Rose
I can use Rose and Bloom as a palate cleanser, most definitely. Or
Anne of Green Gables, the first book, stuff like that. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, things like that, just to get me back into reading. But I forget what one it was that I read recently, and I was like, oh yeah, this got me back into reading. I didn't feel like reading. This one got me back into reading. I forget what it was, but and I can never say what that is going to be at any given time. It just depends.
I know that if I'm in a slump and I need that kind of palate cleanser, I already know about myself that Agatha Christie or a Golden Age mystery is almost a surefire. So I'll go and I'll pick from my collection and be like, okay, this will get me going again. For a while, I was really using Georgette Hayers kind of in that way.
I think one that has a potential for that is the one who wrote about the one in the desert.
You're talking that Barbara Mertz / Elizabeth Peters.
Elizabeth Peters.
Her Amelia Peabody series.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking about. Yes, because I've only read one of them. That's why I couldn't remember. So I could see her becoming that.
I'm interested in seeing if some of her other mysteries that are not Amelia Peabody, what I think of them. And I do need to eventually check out fully finish one of her Egypt books. And I do have one of her books on Egypt. I think it's Red Land, Black Land. So, yes, that ends with that. Because we kind of combine palate cleanser with dependable authors to turn to, which I kind of feel like they are one and the same a lot of times.
I mean, because a palate cleanser is such a wide, because sometimes it can be something like Mother Angelica, or it can be.
Well, I think a lot of times people might think of the thing is, you mentioned a book, then I'm gonna go to, chances are, a particular author whose books I know, because I'm not gonna read a specific book
No.
as a palate cleanser.
No,
I'm gonna go to a surefire author, which then brings me back to
Christy.
The number 3 question.
I think the problem is that for me, I'm a mood reader, so
Mhm.
asking me that question is going to differ from situation to situation because I don't. It depends. It actually, it really does. It depends.
Well, I'm a mood reader, but a lot of times if I'm if I'm just mood reading because I want to read something slightly different, I don't consider it necessarily a palate cleanser in the way that I do, like, I'm having a slump.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this kind of book always gets me going again. And that's what I kind of like, okay, it's cleaning my... sometimes I'll call the Star Wars Timothy Zahn series, either the trilogy or the duology, as a palate cleanser, because I consider it candy. Even more than his actual original science fiction work, which is unfair to the world building that he does in Star Wars. But yeah, so that be it. I will tag people's. This is a longer video because
we did 2 45-minute videos today.
Oh, I don't know how long this was before we had that timer go off, so this is gonna be over an hour. Sorry, everybody.
No, you're not.
No, probably not. All right, see you guys next time.
God bless.
God bless. Bye bye.